increase the flows. Now, before I move into how to increase these multiple flows that you now have, by the way, almost everybody has 2 or 3 flows to start with, but they say I only have 1 flow. So look at every flow that you have, because if you have a checking account or a savings account, they're paying you something there. There's some little dividend. Those should be considered flows. Before I go into this move right here, increasing these multiple flows, I want to go back and just define 3 things. Create, the word multiple, and the word flows. The word create is an unbelievably powerful word. It means to bring something into existence. Okay, you should look this word up yourself, but it is so powerful. It is literally a spiritual word. It comes from spirit or supernatural being. The use of a divine or supernatural being to form out of nothing. We're creating something out of nothing, okay? The original word meant to produce. So to create means to produce, and then to cause something to happen, to form out of nothing, to use something divine like your intelligence, your creativity. The point of this is this: you're never broke. You're not broke as long as you have creativity and commitment, as long as you have desire, you have want to, you have that courage to create, okay? Create multiple flows. The multiple means numerous, several, many, okay? It comes from the word alteration of Latin multiplex. Interesting, I own a lot of multiplex apartments, okay? So what are we talking about? Creating multiple flows, something to bring into existence numerous, several flows. What does flow mean? Steady. If you look it up in the dictionary, it means a steady, continuous flow, something you can depend on, a stream, and it comes from, check this out, it comes from the word to flood. Imagine to be flooded with flows of income that are continuous, streams of income, or friends, or fans, or branding, or notoriety, or people talking about you. This would be considered wealth, right? So ultimately, when you're doing this wealth creation formula, create income, increase income, save, invest, creating multiple flows of income, you're creating wealth, you're creating a flood, so many numerous and continuous streams that they can't be stopped, all right? Now, we're going to move to this now, increasing those flows. How do you do that? How do I take these 2 or 3 flows, or 57 flows, more of that later, okay? When you get into like 20 and 30 and 40 flows of income, we'll handle that right here. But how do I have 2 or 3 flows before I move from 3 to 57 or 3 to 12? What do I do with these flows? The first thing you'd want to do is increase them. The growing increase means the growing of something, right? I want to increase it, make it bigger. I want to girth it out. I want to get it wide, not just deep. The growing of revenue or income, okay? We're talking now about, in this step, about sales, marketing, branding. We're bringing in more revenue. We have 2 or 3 flows. How do I make those bigger? If I have money coming to me as a dividend or interest from the bank, how do I make that bigger? Well, you really can't. You can't tell the bank to pay you more. You could take that money and lend it out. That would be a way to do it. Let's say I've accumulated enough money here. I've invested enough money. I've created multiple flows. I have my job. I have a second job within my job. I have a third job within my job. Those are 3 flows. And I have a 4th thing. My money sits in a bank and it pays me interest. In a sacred account. These are untouched accounts. I will not touch them. I save to invest. I don't save to save. So that money sits in an account that I can get to later, that once I know I'm going to shove it all in here, I'm going to shove it in, I'm going to make my big investment here to maybe spill over 3 or 4 and 5 more times. Don't get ahead of yourself here. This money's sitting in an account. It's paying me a little money every month. Okay, what could I do with that to increase that? You got to get creative here. How do I increase those 2 or 3 flows that you have going on right now? What we're talking about now is sales. We're talking about the increase of revenue. We're talking about what Mark Cuban says, you must learn. If you're going to be in business, you must learn how to sell. We're talking about how Warren Buffett evaluates a company based on revenue and how the company manages that revenue. Again, we're talking about sales. We're talking about people. We're talking about communication. We're talking about motivation. We're talking about what I have mastered in my space. Branding, marketing, how to stay excited, how to go wide, how to talk all the time, how to promote your product, how to ask for the business. We're talking revenue, baby. We're talking about this much of your income statement. Your value as an individual is based on your ability to create revenue in the marketplace. Your value at your job is based on your ability to create revenue at your post. Your value as a manager, an executive, a company owner, an investor, shareholder, your value in the community is your ability to bring revenue in. If you're a philanthropist and you're doing a charity, you're running a charity, you're running Red Cross, your value to Red Cross is based on your ability to bring revenue into Red Cross. It is not to organize Red Cross. It is not to make Red Cross do more great things. It is to control and bring in more revenue so the Red Cross can do more great things, right? See, nothing else should matter in the beginning. Nothing between here and here should matter more than the big R, revenue. How do I bring money in? Every waking moment while you're working your wealth creation formula, you and your spouse, your kids, your company, your department, the people around you should be thinking, how do we increase revenue? This is not the stage where you worry about making products better, okay? This is where you worry about increasing revenue. Revenue can solve all product problems. Every waking moment should be, who's got my money? Who has the money that I want? Who can fund my projects? Who can fund my targets, okay? What's the income for this target? What is the target for this department, this product, this service? How do I get there? Who has it? Make contact, find out what is needed, evaluate every one of these flows as you go along, each of these three flows, constantly looking at the flows. So this is what I do. I'll just tell you what I do. When I was starting, I'm 28, 29, 30 years old. I'm a salesperson in a company. I don't own the company. It's not my company. Okay, what am I doing at this point? All I've done right here is increase flows. Okay, I started to invest a little money in my 3 feet that I talked about earlier, and I'm just trying to make those bigger and better. Now, what am I doing every month? Every month, every week? How about every week? Every week, how about every day? I'm looking at targets. I'm looking at my checking account. I'm looking at my savings account. I'm looking at my sacred account. I'm looking at my customers. I'm looking at my time. I'm looking at my appointments. I'm looking at anything and everything that could be flows of income, right? I'm looking at my goals every day because I'm trying to stay focused. Early on in the wealth creation formula, I don't have any time for boozing. I don't have any time for parties. I don't have time for vacations. Everything is focused on how do I increase the flows of income coming into the Grant Cardone company? And oh, by the way, you are a company. You're a company. You're either a disaster of a company, you're a little tiny company, you're a little startup, or you're a big, think monster company. Whatever you act like, it's what you're going to get. All flows must be validated back into this company. Every little drip must be evaluated and validated. So a penny, a nickel, a quarter, I talk about this over and over. $50 or $500,000 should be validated. If you don't validate the stream, if you ignore them, they will start to disappear. If you want to get wealthy in friends, fans, support, sell books, whatever it is, if you want more reviews, you got to validate them. If you want tips in that Starbucks cup, okay, you have to validate the dollar, the quarter, the nickel, the penny, everything. If you want to get wealthy in friends, you need lots of friends. You need many flows of friends coming in. You cannot be satisfied with 3 friends. 2 of them are going to die. And now you're down to 1 friend. That's no way to build a community. That's no way to have wealth. Never depend on one flow, okay? Acknowledge it, validate it. Wealth cannot be created on one flow or even a simple few. Build many. Pay attention to them all, no matter how big they are. Pay attention to them all. Build them strong, and over time, okay, over time, they're going to grow, and they're going to continue to grow. Make time for nothing else, okay? See, they say, there's an old saying, time is money, right? Well, it is. Where do you put your time will equal whether or not you have money. Never don't pay attention to any of these flows. I know that's bad English, but never don't pay attention, as we say in Louisiana, double negatives, okay? So what do you need here? You need targets right here to increase the flows. I need a graph. I need to be looking at graphs. What's going up, what's going down, what's staying flat. Anything that stays flat will fall. I need to measure these flows. That's a way to acknowledge and validate them. I need to acknowledge them when they're good, when I have a big push, a big pop, something happens. Good job, great job, super job, excellent. Okay, I need to give freaking muscle to the muscle. I need to give support to the win. I need to celebrate when I'm doing well. I need to give attention to each and every one of these. Hey, it's a fact. What you give attention to happens. And I need to save. I need to prepare for what? Save, save, save. And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about the streams. I'm talking about time, energy, resources, creativity. I don't have time for any BS. You want to get wealthy? Pay the price today. Pay the price today, folks. Pay the price today so you can pay any price in the future. Remember what we're doing. This is the wealth creation. Creation is something divine. To create something that never existed for you. It's available. It's possible. Work the formula. Stay disciplined. Now we're going to learn how to really save.